Good morning, everybody. I just thought I would send out a video on how to do the 23 problems on the review sheet. So if you have any questions on the review sheet, they can be answered today on a Monday. So you're ready for your test Tuesday and Wednesday this week. So here we go. Number one, you have to solve by substitution. So in place of the second equation, I'm going to replace the y with 2x plus 1 equals 7. 3x plus 1 equals 7, 3x equals 6, so x equals 2 for the first problem. And then all you have to do is put it back into the equation, and the equation is y equals 2x plus 1, so y equals 2 plus 1, which is equal to 5. So that's number one. You can either leave it like that on the test, or write it as an ordered pair. It doesn't matter. Number two, they give you part of the graph. They give you obviously the parabola that goes and hits it right here at 3, 0. You're supposed to graph the line y is equal to x minus 1. Put a little dot down below, make one, and then go up 1 and over 1, up 1 and over 1, and so on. And your graph will be even better than mine because you have actual graph paper, and you can see that these two intersect in the two spots, and the two spots they intersect is 2, 1, and the other spot they connect is 5, 4. The parabola is already graphed, and you should be able to graph x minus 1, which is just a line. Okay, number 3. Find two numbers whose sums add up to 48. Find two numbers whose sums add up to 48. So the two numbers have to add up to 48. So x equals the first number, and the second number is 48, or we'll do y is the second number. So the first number is x, and the second number is y. Show the two equations. So find two numbers whose sums add up to 48. So x plus y equals 48 is the first. And the quotient of these two numbers is 7. The quotient means to divide. So the quotient of these numbers is equal to 7. We're still on the substitution. So 1, 2, and 3 have to be done by substitution or graphing. So I'm going to multiply by y. So doesn't x really equal 7y? So that means in place of this x right here, I'm going to put 7y. So 7y plus y is 8y equals 48. Divide both sides by 8. Y is equal to 6. So that means x has to equal 42. Again, two variables, two unknowns, two equations. But you have to show your work in number 3, and it's not that difficult to show your work for number 3. 4 and 5, you're going to now switch from substitution to the elimination method. So I'm just going to skip a step, and I'm going to multiply everything on the top by 2. Everybody see the first equation I multiplied by 2, and I'm going to copy down the second equation. Elimination, you draw a line and put a plus sign. These two cancel out. 9y equals 27, so y equals 3. You put that back into the equation, and you're going to get your x value equaling 5. I don't think I have to show that part. Number 5, again, I'm going to multiply the top one by 3, so it's going to be 6x minus 3y is equal to a negative 12. Negative 6xy plus 3y is equal to 12. This cancels out and makes 0. This cancels out and makes 0. And this cancels out and makes 0. Since 0 does equal 0, that's a true statement. It's going to be infinite many solutions. Or many. If you would have gotten 0 equals 4, that's not true. That would have been a no solution problem for number 5. Okay, the next page, number 6. At a recent show, a theater collected $615 on the sale of 90 tickets. Tickets for students were $5 and tickets for adults for $8. How many of each were sold? Again, you're doing two variables, A for adults and S for students. I know that 90 tickets were sold, so A plus S is equal to 90. And I know that they sold $615 worth of tickets, and I know that adults were $8, and I know that students were $5. We're going to solve this by elimination, so I'm going to multiply this whole top one by a -5. So a -5A, a -5S equals a -450. I'm going to put these two together by adding. Draw a line. My S's cancel out. 3A is equal to 615 minus 40. Which is 165. And then 165 divided by 3 is 55, which stands for adults tickets. And if there are 90 tickets sold, there must have been students 35. And that's how you do number 6. Okay, number 7. All you're doing is graphing. So the first thing you have to do to graph is to get y alone. And divide everything by 3. So y is less than 4 minus 4/3 of an x. I put my first dot at 4, which is the y-intercept, and then I go down 4 and over 3, which is right here. It needs to be a dotted line because there's no line underneath it, and everything less than that needs to be shaded in for number 7. Number 8, you're doing exactly the same thing, except you are graphing two equations. So the first thing I'm doing is getting y alone. And these are my two equations. I can put a +0 at the end of this one. So my first one, I put my first dot at 3, and I go down 1 and over 2. It's about right here. This one gets a solid line because there's a line underneath it. Y needs to be less than is down here. The other one, I put my first dot at 0, and I go up 1 and over 1, and that one's going to be a dotted line, and it needs to be less than, which is down here. It's where the two black and red collide with each other, which is down here, is my final answer for number 8. And then number 9, all you have to tell me is the 3 equations. So I have one like this, one like this, and one like this. So I'm going to start with this one. This one's a vertical line, and it's a vertical line. It needs to be less than or equal to 6, because all vertical lines start with the letter X. All horizontal lines start with the letter Y. Y is less than or equal to 4. So number 9, I did the vertical line, I did the horizontal line, and now I'm going to do the diagonal line. Y is greater than only because it's a dotted line. And I know that this line goes through number 4, which is called the y-intercept, a +4, and has a slope for number 9 of a -1/2. If you can't tell what it is by looking at it, you can come over here and do y minus y over x minus x. because one point is 0, 4, and the other point is 6, 1, and you can do this in order to figure out that the slope is a negative 1/2. Okay, moving on to number 10. I'm going to graph the first one, and the first one is a parabola that got shifted to the right 2, and it looks something like this. And it needs to be y is greater than, which is inside of it. Greater than means inside, less than is below it. The other one, I put my first dot at 4, and I go down 2 and over 1, and they're both solid lines like this. And that one needs to be shaded below, which is in here, so that where they intersect is right in here for number 10. Okay, number 11. The shape is already given to you. You just have to name your vertices. One is 0, 0, the other one is 0, 4, and the other one is 2, 4, and another one is 4, 0, and the last one is 4, 2. All you're doing is taking all 5 of these points and putting them into C is equal to x plus 2y. And I'm not gonna, I think you guys can handle doing that. And when you plug 0, 0 in, you get 0, and that's your min. And your max is at 10. And the 10 looks like this one right here. You get 10 for your max if you put it in there. So, number 12. The graph is not given for you in number 12, and you have to graph it. So this isn't going to be the best because I don't have any graph paper, but you have graph paper, so you should be able to go a little faster. Number 12, the first thing you have to do is get y alone. So you're going to put your first dot, sorry about that. You're going to put your first dot at 4. You're going to go down 2 and over 3, down 2 and over 3, down 2 and over 3. So it looks like this. And then x is less than or equal to 6, but greater than or equal to 3, makes a vertical line. You're not just going to make one, you're going to make 2 vertical lines. One at 3, which is right here, and one at 6, which is right there. And then the other one is 0, which is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 4. You're going to make 2 horizontal lines, one at 4 and one at 0. So you're going to make one at 0 and one at 4. So basically the shape that you have is greater than that. It's right here. So you need to figure out this vertice, this vertice, this vertice, and this one down here. And you need to put that into C is equal to x plus 2y. So I'm not going to finish it, but that's what your graph should look like for number 12. Because you need to be greater than that line. So that's why it's not the triangle one. Okay, number 13. Everybody does 13 differently, so this will be interesting to see the way you do 13. I am going to keep the first one, but I'm going to change the second one to its opposites. You're going to get a negative y minus z equals a negative 4. And then I'm going to do the second and third one. So I'm going to multiply the second one by negative 2. And then copy down the third one. But everybody does these different, so it'll be interesting. Negative 5y minus z equals a negative 12. And now I can put these two together. Negative y minus z equals a negative 4, but change all of them to their opposites. You are going to get 4y is equal to 8, so y is equal to 2. And if y is equal to 2, you can find that x is 3, y is 2, and z is 2. Number 14, that should go pretty quick. Take everything in A and multiply it by 4. So 8, negative 12, 16, and 8. And you are going to subtract it to everything in B times 2. So 4, negative 4, negative 2, and 6. Final answer. 8 take away 4 is 4, negative 8, 18, and 2. 15 is basically the same thing, you guys. I'm not going to do 15. It's basically the same thing. Number 16, 1 and 2, 2 and negative 1, 2, 3, 1 and 1. This is a 2 by 2, this is a 2 by 2. Yes, you can multiply them together because those are equal, and you make a 2 by 2. Row by column. 2 plus 2 ends up being 4. And then I do row by this column. So 3 plus 2 is 5. Then I do this row right here and this column, which is 4 take away 1, which is 3. And then if you can see me doing this again, and now this row is going to be 6 take away 1, which is 5. Final answer for number 16. And number 17, basically the same thing. This is going to take a little bit longer though. By 3, negative 2, and 1. This is a 3 by 3. This is a 3 by 1. You can multiply them together because they are equal. And it's going to make a 3 by 1. And what does a 3 by 1 look like? It looks like this. So I'm going to do this row and this column, and I'll show my work for the first one, and the rest of them I'm just going to leave. A negative 1 times 3 is a negative 3, plus 2 times a negative 2 is a negative 4. A negative 3 times 1 is a negative 3. And that's why it ends up becoming a negative, wait a second, did I copy it right? I copied it wrong, sorry. A positive 1, 2, negative 3. A negative 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, negative 2, and 1. This is supposed to be a positive 3. These two cancel out, and that's why it's a negative 4. And then you have to do this row and this column, and that's why it's a negative 7. And then this row, and the only column you have is a positive 1. Okay, 18 and 19. You have to find the inverse. The first thing you have to do is to find the determinant. 20, take away a negative 2, which ends up being 22. What do you do with 22? You put it underneath the 1. You interchange the 5 and the 4, and you leave the 2 and the 1, but they have to change to their opposite. 4 20-seconds. 4 20-seconds is the same thing as 2 11ths, 1 11ths, negative 1 22s, and 5 22s. I know in the answer key it's in decimal form. I don't like it in decimal form. I would like you to leave it in fractional form on the test. It's just quicker for me to check them. Okay, number 19 is the same kind of concept. 3, 2, 1, 4. 12 take away 2 is 10. That's called the determinant. 1/10. Remember, you interchange the 4 and the 3, and these change to their opposite. And then all I ask you to do on the test is the scalar. 4/10 is 2/5, negative 1/5, negative 1/10, and 3/10. And again, please leave it in fractional form on the test for number 19. Number 20, all they want you to do on number 20 is to find the determinant. 10 take away a negative 12 ends up being 22 for number 20. Number 21, same thing. Multiply 5 by 5 plus 4a minus 4 times 6 plus 5a. 25 plus 20a minus 24 minus 20a ends up equaling 1 because these two cancel out the 21. And we're on the last couple of problems. Number 22, we'll quickly run through these. And while you're waiting here, I'll do this one too. In order to do a 3 by 3 on the task, remember, you have to copy down the first two columns over again. You have to do this and this and this first for number 22. So you're gonna get 8 times negative 3 is a negative 24 plus 2 plus 30 minus 10. 4 times 4, negative 16, and a positive 9. Negative 24 and 30 makes 6. This makes 8 here. 10 take away 16 is a negative 6, negative 6, 3, negative 3. You end up getting 8 take away 3 is 5. And the last problem of the day, 1, 2, 3, negative 1, 0, and negative 2. And we go in this direction first. 0 plus 9 take away 12 minus 0 plus 6 minus 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 7. Okay, that's a video on how to do every problem on the review sheet. So look it over if you have any questions. See you guys Tuesday and Wednesday.